Andrea Klim, and you are watching Turn to the Stars. And today is Tuesday, May 3rd, 2016, and the topic of today's show is the new moon in Taurus, and that is going to be occurring on May 6th, which is this Friday. So this energy is actually approaching us, and I'm also going to be talking in depth about the retrogrades of the four Mercury retrogrades that are occurring this year, which is highly unusual. But before I begin the show, I want to talk a little bit and actually honor a fellow astrologer who I met years ago at an astrology seminar by the name of Jonathan Kainer. He was a British astrologer and author of the Daily Mail .co.uk, and that was for 20 years he did this Daily Mail. And actually the royal family in London and England are honoring his passing. So he was a really well-respected astrologer and very sought after for his his gift and his ability and his philosophy. So I'd like to take a moment to honor him. And one of the things he said that was very notable, he said, "Make the most of every moment. We aren't here for long. We all understand this, but we forget it many times. We get caught up in missions, in battles, and desires. We imagine that we have forever and a day. In one way, we might be right, for we are eternal spirits, temporarily residing in finite physical form." And that was one of the most notable things that he said that I wanted to talk about and say thank you to him and his spirit for today. And so thank you, Jonathan Kainer, for all that you contributed to humanity. And I also want to point out that what you see behind me in today's show is what you call a sundog. This is a picture I took visiting my best friend's house this past week with my daughter on school vacation, and you can see the sun. This was a sunset. And the refraction of the light and the moisture in the atmosphere actually created a mini rainbow prism, which was right across it. So it almost looks fake, but it wasn't. I took this picture from the top of her second floor stairs, and it was just amazing to see. And then we put it up on Facebook, and someone said that's a sundog, and gave that explanation. So it's the first time in my life I've seen something like this. So it was pretty amazing to experience. Just for a minute, I want to talk about some news at Turn to the Stars for May. And this Saturday, May 7th, I am offering astrology readings at the Happy Hippie, which is this wonderful store that I absolutely love. My daughter absolutely loves. And I'm going to be there from 10 to 3. They have such beautiful handmade Native American and metaphysical items. And so that's really exciting news. And also in the news, on Saturday, May 21st, there's going to be an event that I am attending with a couple of my friends and co-workers and associates. And so we're going to be at the Breakaway in Danvers, Massachusetts, offering astrology, psychic mediumship, tarot, Reiki, chakra balance. There's 4 of us, and my very special daughter, Lauren, who has some really cool astrology jewelry. So these are fun things in the news at Turn to the Stars for May. And but today's show is about the new moon, which is occurring this Friday, May 6th, at 16 degrees and 44 minutes in the constellation of Taurus. This is the third supermoon this year. So important to us here on Earth because supermoon means that the moon is closer to the Earth than normal. It has a significant effect on humanity. And so I wanted to mention that this is really an important time. And in preparation for today's show, I want to show that chart on the screen right now. There it is, highlighted in blue over to the right. This is actually quite a beautiful chart with all that Taurus energy up in the right-hand corner. I'd say that's about 1 or 2 o'clock, and you can see the sun and the moon together over there, forming that new moon with Mercury very, very close and joined in, as we call in astrology, conjunct. And it's actually forming, if you look at the pyramid or the triangle, that lines that reach across the center of this chart, there's a lot of relief on Earth that this is offering to people in many ways. And one of the things that I felt about this new moon was that it was going to be all about the values realized by each of us around human Earth transformation. And on that topic alone, one of the things that I found, which is to do with that topic, transformation on Earth, was something that Socrates wrote. And he wrote, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." And he was actually a Greek philosopher, credited as one of the founders of Western philosophy. So I wanted to really accent that with this new moon, because Taurus is a very grounded, more slow-moving sign, very methodical, very loving, ruled by Venus. And with that Mercury retrograde right beside it, there's great value in the information that is coming through this Mercury retrograde period. And Mercury retrograde actually began on April 28th. And by May 9th, which is next week, we are going to have a period of, I see what this is about. I see the value in this information that I've been researching and going back over. So, but it's not time to really move on your, make final agreements during this time. It really is researching what's in best interest and what you would take as value out of this period of time. So this retrograde ends May 22nd. With a couple days after that, I would give it to sort of settle, because it is time for researching. And this new moon, I want to talk about a parallel in history of this new moon that's occurring this week. A parallel in time, which was 18,291 BC. And it was a time of Upper Paleolithic people, which is truly the period of the Stone Age, showed the earliest signs. It was a period that showed the earliest signs of organized settlements. Campsites were being formed with people developing and realizing that they needed to have some way to store things that they'd grown, things that they gathered. So to store their valuables. There were artistic works that were blossoming in cave paintings, carvings, engravings. It was the first signs of humans learning to fish and social groupings that were emerging. So it was really an important time historically on Earth of development very valuable developments for humanity. And I associated this with that it suggests, the parallel suggests that on this new moon, we're apt to see new themes of new groups forming. I mean, we see that politically already, and in many different aspects of our lives, we're examining that piece for this month ahead of May with this new theme, this new moon. And I do want to show that chart one more time with Mercury retrograde, and we can see Mercury retrograde again, which is the planet that is right next to the sun and the moon to the top right. And with this Mercury retrograde, I'm going to talk in depth about this because it opens doors for us to realize the earthly facts so necessary for a healthy life. This energy offers up valuable pockets of knowledge, transformation. We can see that with the connection to Jupiter and Virgo, another earth sign. Taurus is an earth sign. The North Node showing new territory for all of us in areas of health and in work. And this new moon also is showing relief through its connection down to Pluto in Capricorn, meaning new forms, new platforms, digging deep into what it is that we want to build in our lives. And there's lots of relief shown through this new moon. So, and it's also going to unveil for us new territories that have not been in our realities as of yet. This new moon does bring to mind a quote by Fyodor Dostoevsky, a Russian novelist. I don't know that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he said, above all, do not lie to yourself. And this is truly very, very important on this new moon. This is what he said. Above all, do not lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within himself or around himself, and in so loses respect for himself and all others, and having no respect, he ceases to love. And when you cease to love through experience, I have learned through observation, through my own experiences, and through watching others, that when you cease to love, you become an empty shell, open for anything to take over or enter. And Taurus is a sign, this new moon is in Taurus, that is a very loving sign, a very stable sign, a very creative sign, but it is also a sign that loves material, loves the earth, loves the groundedness and all the things that you can touch and feel and really see the beauty in them. But it's not only about that. From an esoteric or more evolved standpoint, Taurus is the one who helps us to realize our own value and where those inner values come from. It brings confidence, but it also brings reality. So one of the things that I would say to you, if you're someone who's had these experiences that sort of has ceased to love, is I would say to you an old Latin phrase which I was taught to by my daughter's Latin teacher, and it goes, cura ut valias, means take care that you be well. Take care that you are being honest with yourself and that you're not caught up in a world of make-believe. Being that Mercury is retrograde on this new moon, it's a great time to discuss the planetary retrogrades for you today of 2016 and their importance to you, because they all come together in 2016. There's actually what we're calling 2016 is a great reset. This is a very powerful year when you press the reset, refresh button on the whole of your life. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity And what I'm going to go into is in general for all. For more personal information, what I'm going to discuss on this show is very general, but if you're interested in more personal information, please feel free to, ask those questions to me at Turn to the Stars. So I'm going to talk about why is 2016 so significant for reinventing yourself. Redo your life. Why is it so important to recreate everything about you? 2016 is giving us this opportunity. There are 4 Mercury retrogrades this year. Very unusual. Normally we have 3. It's so rare to see 4 in one year. All these retrogrades are in earth signs. Upon examination of them, I realized that the 4 retrogrades that we are experiencing this year, we had one in January, and then we have this one in Taurus. The January one was Capricorn, earth sign. This one is Taurus, earth sign. The next one is Virgo, earth sign. And then we're going to have another one in Capricorn in December. All these retrogrades, earth signs. Earth signs enable you to manifest. They allow you to manifest material. They allow you to manifest factual things that you can touch, feel, and actually build. Brings things into a physical reality, whether it be relationships, finances, spiritual life, or connection with God or your divine creation, your universe, whatever that may be. Whatever it is that you choose to believe in. It could be your health. So whether any of these areas, you're going to have an opportunity this year to create something in reality. Everything that starts with R-E, re. You're going to start noticing the R-E's appearing in front of lots and lots of words in your life. Relax, reinvent, readjust, recreate, realize, reassess, redefine, relocate, remove. There may be things that you want to remove out of your life upon that word. That too will be a great opportunity during this 2016 year. Why is it so powerful? Very good question. The main reason is because we've got, right now as I speak, May 3rd, we have Mars retrograde. And this doesn't happen every year. It only happens every 2 to 3 years. So when it happens, it's very important. And Mars is retrograde in Sagittarius. And Mars looks at your use of energy. You could experience a robotic physical reset, so to speak. You might say, I want to reset myself, my direction, where I'm going to, what I'm doing. That's Mars energy. And we have that occurring at the time of this Mercury retrograde. And added to that, we also have Pluto in Capricorn, another earth sign affected by every single Mercury retrograde this year. So interesting. The particular degree where each of these retrogrades ends, all of them aspect Pluto. Not a mistake. This is so important. This is one of the biggest points of today's show. This means that you've got a chance to go deeper and deeper and to get better results in your life than you've ever been able to get before. Keep in mind and remember, very important to remember this piece. Make a list of all the words you can think about that start with re, R-E. It will help you so much because these words are going to be keywords this year for you because of every single one of these Mercury retrogrades ending up connecting with Pluto. Mercury retrograde is about learning. We have an opportunity during Mercury retrograde to find a means to a better end. And because Mercury retrograde on every single one of these comes back to Pluto, we have a much more profound opportunity to go deeper than ever into what that change is going to look like for us. If you can keep this in mind, the RE word, with RE, one of the things that I think about, because also we have Saturn in Sagittarius, which is also retrograde, along with Mars retrograde. A lot of internal stuff going on for everyone. Religion is one of those things that is an RE word. Start thinking about this. So this is, everybody has a different way, or maybe a different way they reach our Creator. So for some people, it's through religion. For some people, it's through nature. For some people, it's through sports. For some people, it's through walking in nature. However that might be, all paths do lead to the same place. But I'd like to ask you to start thinking about this. These words, especially the ones you come up with for yourself, will be very important keywords for you to focus on, and will enable you to reset your whole life should you choose to do that. This will bring more joy for you, more love, more harmony, more peace of mind of the things that you really want. You'll realize what you don't want. You'll revisit them. And the things that you feel very strong and very focused on inside will be realized. Deep down is what Pluto brings to light. The deep down within every one of us. What's buried below the surface, the values, the jewels. That's what these Mercury retrogrades are bringing to us this year. Every Mercury retrograde this year is going to have us diving deep. So I wanted to also then talk about, I have something I want to put on the screen, and this is the retrogrades for Mercury for 2016. As you can see, the first one is Mercury retrograde, the one that we are currently experiencing in Taurus, and it is the examination of our values, our surface values, as well as our material values, our money, and wherever that is occurring in your chart is very important, because of its connection with Pluto by the time it ends on May 22nd. Remember May 9th, write that date down. You'll know as we approach that date there is this huge aha of what is truly valuable to you as far as this knowledge that comes from this Mercury retrograde. Mars retrograde. Mars is our movement, our actions. It's also anger. It's also things that we actively get involved in and what we believe in. So we are actively revisiting things that we are examining that may be possible avenues and opportunities for reaching out beyond the territory we're currently in. That actually occurs between April 16th and July 1st. Very important time. Not a good time for surgery. I had a client yesterday asking me about having surgery while Mercury is retrograde and Mars is retrograde. Absolutely not from a medical standpoint. Examine, research, at least get through Mercury retrograde and gather some information. Mars rules over knives and surgery. So if you can find alternative methods during this time, it's really, truly in your best interest. Jupiter retrograde, very important. This ends on May 9th, which is also the turning point of Mercury retrograde. So, and it actually is connecting, providing us with relief of the surface things going on in our life. So May 9th is an important date for forward movement in the area of our work, of our health, of how we serve in our lives. And so that's important to talk about. So, and I also want to talk a little bit about Saturn retrograde. That actually started March 25th, and it is retrograde through August 13th. Saturn being about the limitations, the places where we're learning a lot at this time in our lives, the facts. It's the one of the words I use to describe Saturn is harsh reality, or reality of what's most important to us, where we need to sort of learn boundaries and limitations, and what that looks like. So there's, with Saturn being in Sagittarius, it's kind of an oxymoron, and we're really all working on searching for what's truly in each of our hearts in our best interest. And I also wanted to give you a little insight scientifically before the end of the show in regards to atmospheric energy, and why astrology is such a science. And it's something I was having a conversation with one of my daughter's friends the other day about, why so many people on Earth are experiencing such a tremendous amount of change in their lives, both with their health and with the way they think and they operate. And the Earth is going through many changes. The North Pole is slowly becoming almost, at some point, will almost be on the ecliptic. And so that does make the atmosphere around the Earth a lot more unstable, so there's a lot of radiation that's hitting us here on Earth. So really do take care that you be well, take care of yourself, and I hope that you will remember to turn to the stars and find your answers there. It is one of the places that I turn to and trust, because it is truly one of the most perfect sciences in the world. So I want to wish you well, and wish you a great week. Until next time, take care, and remember, turn to the stars and you'll find your answers there.